Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to run Windows apps on Linux using Wine11, bottles, and other tools in a way that anyone can understand. If you've ever switched to Linux and realized, uh-oh, my favorite Windows software doesn't have a Linux version, don't worry. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand how it works, but you'll actually be able to install and run Windows apps confidently. Let's get started. Alright, so first, what exactly is Wine? Wine originally stood for Wine is not an emulator. And I know that sounds confusing. Here's the simple explanation. A Windows program expects certain Windows-only functions. Wine acts like a translator that takes those Windows commands and converts them into Linux-friendly commands. So instead of installing a full Windows operating system, instead of running a heavy virtual machine, you're basically running Windows apps directly on Linux. That's why Wine apps usually run faster than in a virtual machine with less RAM usage, and sometimes almost like native Linux apps. We now have Wine11, which came out January 2026. It is the latest generation, and it brings major improvements in compatibility and performance. For example, WoW 64 is an acronym for Windows 32-bit on Windows 64-bit, which is a compatibility layer in 64-bit versions of the Windows operating system that allows 32-bit applications to run seamlessly. Before, this new WoW 64 system was still experimental. In Wine11, it's now official, stable, and ready for everyday use. This means fewer crashes and better compatibility. Wine11 now makes running old Windows programs on modern Linux systems easier, cleaner, and more future-proof. You get better compatibility without needing to understand the technical details. Another big upgrade in Wine11 is how it handles multitasking behind the scenes, synchronization. Basically, modern games and apps do lots of things at the same time. Wine11 is now much better at coordinating all that work, which means smoother gameplay, less stuttering, and better performance overall. On Linux, Wine can now use a newer system feature that helps apps wait less and run more efficiently. You don't really see it, but you definitely feel it. And of course, there are several other improvements in Wine11, so if you want all the technical details, make sure to check out the full release notes. Bottom line, Wine11 makes Windows apps feel faster and more stable on Linux and Mac OS, especially for games. Alright, now that we know what Wine11 is and why it matters, let's actually install it. And honestly, this part is super straightforward. Wine gives you all the commands you need. You just have to choose the ones that match your operating system. For example, I'm on Ubuntu 24.04, also known as Ubuntu Noble. So all I'm going to do is copy and paste the commands for Ubuntu Noble Now here's something a lot of new users get confused about. After installing Wine, you won't see a Wine icon in your applications menu. And that's totally normal. Wine isn't like a regular app that puts a shortcut on your desktop. Think of it more like an engine. It sits in the background and only shows itself when you run a Windows program. So how do you know it's actually installed? Super easy. Open your terminal and type this command. If Wine is installed correctly, it will print something like Wine 11. That's your confirmation. No big menu icon, no launcher. Wine just waits quietly until you double-click a .exe file or run it from the terminal. So yes, if you don't see it in your applications list, don't panic. Wine is installed. It just doesn't need a menu entry to work. Alright, so after installing Wine, you'll often hear people say, run Wine CFG first, which means Wine configuration. But why? What does it even do? When you run this command for the very first time, Wine does something important behind the scenes. It creates your Wine prefix. Think of a Wine prefix like a mini Windows folder inside Linux. It's where Wine stores your fake C drive registry files, settings, Windows system folders, and basically all your installed Windows apps. Wine CFG opens a simple settings window where you can change the Windows version example, Windows 7, 10, 11, and so on. Set audio drivers, configure graphics options, and manage libraries and overrides. These settings help fix compatibility issues depending on the app you want to run. So if you're on Ubuntu and you're wondering where Wine keeps its Windows files, it's actually very simple. Wine creates a hidden folder inside your home directory called Wine. This folder is your fake Windows PC. It has the C drive, program files, everything. Now, because it's hidden, you won't see it at first. Just press Ctrl+H in the File Manager and boom, the .wine folder appears. Inside there, drive C is basically your Windows C drive. Alright, now let's actually use Wine. I'm going to show you two ways. Graphically and through the terminal, super simple. Let's start with the terminal method. Why does Notepad run even though I never installed it? Well, Wine includes its own built-in version of Notepad, so when you click it, it opens instantly. Wine ships with a few built-in Windows tools like WordPad and Wine Control Panel. These come bundled, so Wine can function like a basic Windows environment right out of the box. So that's why Notepad just works. You didn't install it, Wine includes it automatically. If Notepad runs, then Wine works. Everything else builds on that. Now let me install 7-zip. I already downloaded the installer and it is in my downloads folder. Once it's installed, Wine automatically places the launcher in the Applications menu. Alright, here's another cool thing about Wine that surprises a lot of new Linux users. You don't always need the terminal. You don't need to go through menus. You don't even need to open Wine manually. You can literally just double-click a windows.exe file, and it opens. Alright guys, quick reality check before we go any further. A lot of Windows apps run great on Wine, but not everything is going to work perfectly, and that's not because Linux is bad or because Wine is broken, it's simply because Wine is trying to recreate Windows without using Windows. Windows is incredibly complex, and Wine can't perfectly recreate every part of it on its own. So that is why tools like Bottles, Wine Tricks, and Crossover exist. because Wine alone isn't always enough. These tools help fill in the gaps and automate tricky parts. WineTricks is like a toolbox for Wine. It installs things many Windows apps expect, such as .NET Framework, DirectX Visual C++, runtimes fonts, and DLL overrides. These are things Windows apps depend on, and without them, the app may crash or not even start. WineTricks makes installing those components easy. We also have Bottles. Bottles is a beautiful, beginner-friendly app that simplifies wine like crazy. It lets you create separate bottles, isolated wine environments, configure apps with one click, apply community presets, install dependencies automatically, and keep apps separated so they don't conflict. Think of Bottles as wine, but with training wheels and automatic tuning. It's perfect for beginners and people who don't want to tweak settings manually. Crossover is a commercial version of Wine maintained by code weavers. They're actually the biggest contributors to Wine itself. Crossover gives you professional support, one-click installers for many apps, better compatibility for Microsoft Office, Adobe Tools, etc., a polished interface for managing Windows apps. It's basically Wine with guaranteed support and premium improvements. Now, before we end the video, let's quickly touch on two more tools that you're definitely going to hear about in the Linux world, Lutris and Proton. These also play a huge role in running Windows apps and games on Linux, but they're focused more on gaming than general applications. Let's start with Lutris. Lutris is basically the gaming hub for Linux. It takes Wine, Proton, emulators, and all kinds of runners, bundles them together, and gives you a clean click-and-play launcher for your games. The beauty of Lutris is that you don't have to manually tweak Wine or search for configs. Lutris has community installers that automatically apply the right Wine version, patches, dependencies, and settings for whatever game you're trying to run. It makes Windows game setup almost effortless. And then we have Proton, which is Steam's own modified version of Wine built specifically for gaming. Proton is what makes thousands of Windows games run on Linux with one click inside Steam. Valve has invested heavily in Proton, and that's why modern Linux gaming feels so close to native Windows gaming now. If you install a game on Steam and it just works, that's Proton doing its thing behind the scenes, handling DirectX to Vulkan translation, audio fixes, controller support, anti-cheat compatibility, all of it. So to sum it up smoothly, Wine handles general apps, Bottles and WineTricks make Wine easier, Crossover gives you a polished paid experience, Lutris helps you organize and run games outside Steam, and Proton powers the whole Steam Play ecosystem. They all work together to make Linux a surprisingly powerful platform for both apps and gaming. And that's it for today's video. If this helped you understand Wine and the ecosystem around it, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment telling me which Windows app or game you're planning to run on Linux next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.